Hello to everyone out there in internet land. Matthew here. It is August 6, 2016, and this is the final installment in the Yale Study vlog series. It is also the last time I will be doing my vlogs like this. I've gotten some equipment in from Amazon, so I have a more professional look, even though that's not what I was going for at first. But this is the final in the Yale series because I got the report today. And I'm going to read some sections of it, give a quick synopsis. But also I want to frame this out because last weekend I got to spend time with my surrogate sisters, and not related to me. They're related to each other, but not to me. But they've been nice enough to adopt me as a big brother. So much love to Steph and AJ. I was very glad I got to see them. And Steph's husband, Alyosha. We got to hang out for a while. Now, of all the people in my life that I've known throughout my entire life, Steph probably knows me more, is a person who knows me probably the best. Top 5 people. And she gave me a great mile marker in my development by saying that she was proud of me for the work I was doing for mental health advocacy, exposing myself to the whole world here, but also because in my own development, this is the most balanced she's seen me. You know, she laughs at the idea of me being so intellectual and so mechanistic and such a machine, and because she knows me a lot better than that. She's seen so many different sides to me. And to her, I was always more than a machine. And to hang out with her again and to see that reflected back. You know, the people who are close to you can be your best mirror. And it's even more accurate when, for a time, they don't see you regularly. You know, it's the same thing like losing weight. You lose a bunch of weight gradually. People around you don't necessarily notice, but somebody who hasn't seen you in a couple of months sees you, and it's this huge shift. She really saw through my crap. And that's what I refer to it as, because between talking with her last week and reading this report, I see how much I've gotten in my own way in the past few years. I've already expressed how my obsessive need to maintain order in my life really ruined my marriage. I didn't focus on the intangibles. And I was around somebody last week who reminded me of the importance of those things. So incredibly grateful for that. And it was just great to, be with loved ones. But this report really outlines how not autistic I really am. For all the other symptoms of the things I've been diagnosed with, the ADHD, the OCD, the dysthymia, the photosensitivity, that a lot of those symptoms, like I said, do match up with a lot of autistic symptoms. It was what she said in this report. Again, this report is really to my future therapist. Matthew presented as a friendly man who was motivated and engaged throughout the testing. He appeared to put forth solid effort during all testing activities and was reflective and patient during clinical interviews. That's very nice and polite to say, especially because it's sandwiched in between an IQ score of average. That was probably the hardest thing to take. But, they're just tests, right? But they also said I understood and could communicate emotions fairly well, used plenty of nonverbal behaviors and nonverbal cues, reciprocal conversation, asked plenty of questions about the interviewer too. My vulnerabilities, though, do lie in my loneliness. Though he reported he's able to spend time alone and has learned to enjoy it, he's also described feeling lonely and explained the enormous amount of effort it takes with him to engage with others. Thus, he continues to struggle with how to connect emotionally with others. His restricted interests, Matthew exhibited several topics of interest to which he referred frequently throughout the evaluation. These included references to quantum mechanics and synchronicity. And when everybody else is worried about Demi Lovato's ass and whatever sports team is sportsing the hardest, you can see where there would be a bit of a disconnect. At present, general anxiety and OCD symptoms appear to be the most prominent. So when people say to me, oh, you're so friendly, you're so outgoing, you don't know what goes on in my head. And that goes for everyone. You don't know what somebody is going through inside. PTSD, bipolar, these are all invisible disorders. ADHD, OCD, autism. You don't know. And that highlights this again. She does recommend that I go to therapists to focus on helping me clear the behavioral problems I have with my OCD and anxiety. I guess my ADHD didn't show up so much because I was really focused on these tests, but if I was bouncing off the walls a little bit more during the tests, I'm sure that'd be in there too. Point is, when I say that I'm looking for a label, something I can get my hands on, I might oversell in one respect. I might oversell the value of a clinical diagnosis because on one level, I've gotten in my own way. I was talking with a friend the other day who's also known me for a while. And if anyone knows Jason Silva, he's this very expressive thinker. And my friend said, that's who you remind me of the most. And it was a high compliment. I mean, the man's brilliant. But he speaks in this freestyle kind of prose and he talks about these grand concepts in this beautiful, expressive way. And I guess I must have done that at some point because Steph just looked at me with this, you gotta be kidding me, smile that she just does to me sometimes when she knows that I'm screwing my life up. And she's stopping me with just a smile. And I'm like, what? She says, a machine doesn't talk like that. I was talking about the city. Yeah, that's what it was. I was talking about the city, how wonderful it is. And she's like, a machine doesn't talk like that. That expressive form. I guess I just stopped living. And it was just constantly doing. I say just. I mean, I do have things that make that a problem. Just living. But it's something I need to keep focusing on. And the more I do, I know the more will come to me. And working on this channel, expressing my problems this way and throwing it out to the world and letting other people see what goes on in here might be relatable to somebody else. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that I can lend a hand to someone through my example, through my story. We relate to each other through stories. Humans have always done that. There's a lot of things I forgot. And being with my family, blood or not, reminded me of that. And while I still look forward to a clinical diagnosis or reaffirmation of previous diagnoses, I'm also opening, not shifting, but opening my focus to be really personal and less clinical. Trying to quantify things is what ruined my marriage and a lot of other relationships. And I'm extremely grateful that Lauren has stuck around in my life. Another person who knows me way too well. Can't really let that get sour. That would be bad. But seriously, that's something I need to focus on, is the is the intangibles, the stuff you can't describe without going off for hours in expressive prose. But I'm willing to keep going on this journey. If you're still willing to come with me, as I completely wrap up this one chapter and go on to the next, I hope that my insights can help you. And again, next video will be of higher quality. So thank you for sticking around this far, and I will catch up with you another time.